Hello everybody. In this video we will speak about the first group of batch flower essences about fear. There are 5 essences that deal with fear as a central theme. It's Mimulus, rock rose, aspen, cherry plum and red chestnut. Mimulus is probably the most frequently used essence. And the reason is that it deals with fear generally. People who need Mimulus have various fears, like of some animals like snakes, spiders, and criminals, being alone, of financial problems, of conflicts, of being ill, or of death. And it's typical that they can quite easily describe of what they fear. And this fear is calm, so they do not feel panic, but they would like to avoid it or to postpone exam, for example. And some people, especially men, are educated not to speak about fears, or even in them the fear is something impossible, denied. And they express their hidden fear by taking preventive measures, like they dress well to avoid cold, or they must prepare well for the exam. They are very cautious. We can compare Mimulus with other remedies that belong to the same group, like rock rose. There is panic. In Mimulus, it's a calm fear. Aspen for vague fears. White chestnut for worrying thoughts that may circulate in the mind. And larch is more about lack of self-confidence. They, of course, can have, for example, fear of exam, but the central problem is self-confidence. Red chestnut doesn't fear for himself, but for the others. And cherry plum has a fear of losing self-control, of doing something terrible, or of getting crazy. Rock rose is about panic. It's their central theme. And panic means that they lose their adult thinking, adult abilities to deal with the problem, and they behave like a small terrified child. It may be a result of some assault, for example, about some accident, about watching a terrifying movie, or some people may even feel panicky when they hear dentist's drill. They want to run away, their heart starts beat fast, and they perspire a lot. People become to the rock state usually in some acute situations, going to the dentist, for example. But some of them have experienced so terrible and terrifying event that it returns even after years in a form of flashbacks. They suddenly feel as if they were back in that situation. Something like sound, smell can provoke it. And another remedy for flashbacks is Star of Bethlehem. And the difference is that rock rose is for panic, and Star of Bethlehem is for paralysis, for shock. It's also typical that the fear or the panic can spread to the other people around. For example, a panicky child can spread his fear to his parents, so then the whole family will need rock rose. And panic or rock rose is often accompanied by physical symptoms like heart beating, perspiration, faintness, or suffocation. We can again compare Rockrose with remedies from the same group, like Mimulus, fear, calm fear, not panic, Aspen, vague fear, and Cherry Plum, fear of losing self-control or getting crazy. And Star of Bethlehem is another remedy for post-traumatic stress disorder. We should also mention that Rockrose is a part of Crisis Essence. Aspen has a fear of unknown. It's difficult to grasp. They feel that something wrong could happen, but they do not know what. It's more a feeling of a premonition. They may have fear of ghosts, of spirits, have some paranormal feelings, and they may ask astrologists for help or fortune tellers to prevent these terrible events that might happen in the future. So that's Aspen. And again, we can compare Aspen with other remedies from fear group like Mimulus. The difference is in Mimulus the fear is concrete, in Aspen vague, Rockrose, it's about panic, Red Chestnut, fear for the others, and Walnut is oversensitive. His perception is very acute, so he can have some extrasensory perceptions. We can demonstrate the difference between Mimulus, Rockrose, and Aspen on these three situations. Fear of darkness. They all can have fear of darkness, but we should ask what they fear most. And Mimulus has a fear of robbers in the darkness. Rockrose may become panicky because he has met some terrible situation in the past. He was, for example, assaulted, raped in the darkness, so he wants to avoid it. And Aspen has a fear of some supernatural, like ghosts, specters, zombies, skeletons. The fear of death. In the fear of death, Mimulus has a fear of dying, of pain. Rockrose feels acute panic when he is really dying and he feels suffocation or extreme pain. And Aspen has a fear of unknown after death. Fear of nightmares. In Mimulus, this is a calm fear. There are, for example, robbers, but he isn't terrified. He is not panicking. Rockrose is panic, and Aspen wakes up and he knows that in his dream there was something really terrible, but he doesn't remember it. And now we come to Cherry Plum. Cherry Plum is about the fear of himself, of oneself, about of one's emotions and impulses. We may have a fear of getting angry, of hitting somebody, of crying in the public, of getting crazy or ending in some psychiatric hospital. We can compare the state of Cherry Plum with a nuclear power plant that is getting out of the control and there is a danger of an explosion. We can compare Cherry Plum with Rockrose, panic, with Holly, that is extremely aggressive, and Sweet Chestnut, that suffers extremely. Again, Cherry Plum is a part of Crisis Essence. This image would be a terrible experience for people who need Rockrose, Red Chestnut, because fear for such a small, beautiful child is typical for red chestnut. And these people suffer, for example, when their children go out in the evening. They look every 5 minutes at their clock, and they wish their children to return as soon as possible. They may even imagine that they had a car accident or somebody attacked them. Red chestnut is very useful for people who take care of seriously ill persons, and it also helps the separation process. When the child goes to the kindergarten or moves away, and it helps both the parents and the child. We can compare chestnut with, again, with the fear group: Mimulus, concrete fears, rock rose, panic, aspen, vague fears; white chestnut, worrying thoughts; chicory. Chicory is about smothering love, when somebody wants to keep their dear persons near and may use some methods like emotional extortion to keep them at home. Honeysuckle helps when there is a sadness that the dear person will never be again as he used to be. For example, a serious diagnosis causes that this person is seriously disabled, and there is no chance that he can be healthy again. And walnut helps when there is an excessive empathy. Both red chestnut and walnut are very empathetic persons, and they can even suffer because of that. Here you can see that, for example, the difference sometimes, or the remedies may be very close. Red chestnut, honeysuckle may get close when taking of a seriously ill person, or chicory and red chestnut. The difference may be quite small, and in this situation we can freely use both essences in the combination. So, still once, Mimulus, fear of known things; aspen, for fears where there is no clear reason for that; rock rose for panic; cherry plum for fear of losing self-control; red chestnut for fear for the other people. So, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And in the next video we will speak about the second group, about uncertainty.